I'm not sure how this season could get off to a better start. I mean, Golden Knights were dominant in the first game against the Avalanche. And they looked pretty good last night. Obviously, winning 4-3 over the St. Louis Blues. And games between the Knights and the Blues do always tend to be a little bit on the unpredictable side, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm not really sure there's any way at all that this morning could get any better. Wait. I can improve the mood. The Oilers. They lost 6-0 to the Jets and lost to the Blackhawks. They're in last. They haven't won yet this year. Yep. That's one way to make this morning better. This is really bad coffee. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you happen to be on this fine planet Earth. I am pleased to announce that the Golden Knights are, in fact, 2-0 and took care of the St. Louis Blues by a final score of 4-3. Now, I don't know why I'm so positive, because this game could have gone so bad, because almost every single time the Knights and Blues get together for anything, drama and insanity tend to ensue. And this game was, by this team's standards with the other team, a very calm game, very measured and controlled effort by the Golden Knights. However, it didn't start out that way. Adin Hill gets the start tonight against Jordan Binnington, the St. Louis Blues, on the back half of a back-to-back. For the second game in a row, the Golden Knights actually get off to a little bit of a sleepy start. Not like they didn't start on time, because they did that a couple of times last year where the game started at 7, but I'm convinced they thought the game started at 7:30. They just weren't super crisp, super fast, and ultimately it wound up hurting them early on in the game, as the Golden Knights would not, in fact, just as they did in Game 1 against the Avalanche, score first, as Pavel Buchnevich would get on the board early. He would have what would be his next in a long line of many big games against the Golden Knights, walk down the far boards, go from forehand onto the backhand. Noah Hanifin just kind of slides out of the play. And if you watch the NHL.com recreation of the goal, the simulation, which, by the way, that thing is awesome. I've been using that extensively to prepare for these videos, because as much as I've got a great hockey memory, I can't remember the finer details, and it's cool to watch it in fun little dot form. Hanifin just goes sliding out of the play. Buchnevich slides across into the middle of the ice where there's no one there. And, unsurprisingly, beats Adin Hill on the glove side. So 7 minutes into the game, the Knights are 1, not the better team on the ice, and 2, behind on the scoreboard. So that's not great. However, and I referenced this in the first video of the season, the toxic trait of responding quickly. It's becoming less of a toxic thing and just more of a, the Knights are just going to do this now. And it happened again. This is ridiculous. I don't know how. I don't know why. Jack Eichel, Ivan Barbashev skating out of the offense or out of the defensive zone into the offensive zone. Barbashev sends a pass to Eichel in the middle, goes from his forehand to his backhand, and dekes Jordan Binnington completely out of his pads. Like just completely out of his pads. I think he got deked out so bad that one of his leg pads wound up here in Minnesota. And Eichel's able to tuck home his first of the year and his 5th point in 2 games. And he's not done tonight either. Beautiful goal. Great way to get the building going, and it was within 2 minutes of the Blues scoring, so that makes sense. Middle of this first period wound up being kind of a sleepy affair, and I don't want to say sleepy because I was very sleepy at the time. I was really tired when this game was being played. Something about those 9 o'clock Central starts are just absolutely exhausting, especially after a long week of class. I don't know how I made it to the end of this game, honestly, and I don't even know how last night I watched the Oilers lose to the Hawks. But with time winding down in the first period, the Golden Knights decide, you know what, we don't want to take a tie game into the locker room. We'd actually like to be in control of this game. And over the boards comes the Jack Eichel, Ivan Barbashev, Mark Stone line to, in no small sense of the phrase, absolutely wreck stuff. As Eichel's flying down the far boards, he's got people all over him. Stone's in the middle, Barbashev's on the left wing. Eichel floats a pass to Stone in the middle, who no-look one-touch backhands it to Barbashev wide open in the slot, who wires it under Binnington's blocker. This Jordan Binnington, poor guy. I'm sure he's a great human behind the mask. I'm sure he's a great guy, but he's not the greatest goalie when being faced by the Golden Knights top line. Historically, he's given up so many goals to this top unit, and it's great to see that Stone's getting in on the action, and Eichel picks up his sixth point of the year already. He's like, I'm just going to go ahead and cast my vote for him to win the Art Ross this year. I mean, it's not going to happen because he's going to slow down eventually, but at the same time, damn, 6 points in 2 games. That's a line I'm impressed by, and that would be the score that the second period would begin at, as the Knights were able to take that 2-1 lead into the first intermission. And the Golden Knights, unlike the first period, were able to come out and start very well in the second period. They came out with a lot of speed, a lot of fire, and ultimately were forcing the Blues into making mistakes. One of those mistakes ended up winding up in the back of the Blues net, as newly acquired Golden Knights debut player, 8th NHL game in his career, Cole Schwindt, yes, like the bicycle, gets the puck on a weird failed breakout by the Blues and just fires a slap shot on Jordan Binnington. Now, the slap shot is low and off his leg pad, but it kicks right at Shea Theodore on the right side of the ice, who just absolutely posts a slap shot to the top right corner over the glove, and it's 3-1 Golden Knights. That's Schwindt's first point in the NHL. He said after the game that his biggest credit actually goes to Theodore for getting him there, because that was an incredible shot. And if you watch it back, it absolutely was. So 1, welcome to the team. And 2, you get to score a point in the NHL now. That's 1 more point than I'm ever going to score in the NHL. So congratulations on that. And even more congratulations to the Golden Knights for being up 3-1 at this point. But it would be too easy. It'd be too easy to say that the Golden Knights walked away to an easy victory after going up 3-1 early in the second period. There is 36 minutes left of the game whenever that goal went in, and the Blues, as they so often do against the Golden Knights in particular, refuse to go away, as they get a power play a few minutes after the Golden Knights extend their lead to 3-1, and I'm convinced they could have scored at least 3 times on this power play. The Golden Knights were stretched all over the place, just absolutely all over the place, and Johnny on the spot, I believe it was Buchnevich, again, second of the night, on like 20 seconds after the Blues missed a wide open net tap in, he's able to take the puck in the high slot over by the left circle and fire it past Aiden Hill's glove again. Why do you even have this thing if you're not going to use it? And so now it's 3-2, which is still not great, but the Golden Knights were a good team, played shutdown defense for basically the entire second period to that point, and got to the locker room with the score at 3-2. And so I'm feeling pretty okay. It's been actually a pretty sleepy back half of the second period. There wasn't a lot going on, not a lot of action. I don't think there were any penalties. It was just a lot of dump and chase, a couple of big saves by both goalies, and ultimately 2 teams playing pretty good hockey. And the third period would begin that way. For the first, I'm convinced, 10, 12 minutes of the third period, it was just more of what the back half of the second was. There was a good 22-minute stretch of game from the middle of the second to the middle of the third where nothing was happening. And I was sitting on the couch watching this game and thinking to myself, how am I going to talk about 30 minutes of dead hockey? Because at that point, I was convinced that the game was going to end 3-2 or 4-2 with an empty netter. And I was just sitting there staring off into space. And then the TV got really loud because Nick Waugh tipped home a goal. Golden Knights hadn't landed a shot in forever, and then just a random point shot comes in off of a bad turnover of the Blues exiting the zone, and Waugh tips home his first goal of the year and gives the Golden Knights a 4-2 lead, and I'm just sitting there. I'm entirely unprepared for this goal. Usually I can see it coming. Usually I can get up and be excited. This one, I just raised my hand a little bit, and then I put my hand back down because I have no idea what the hell happened. Proceeded to watch the replay and then got a little bit more excited. This was an incredible tip. Just a really good tip. And I made the mistake of thinking, oh, that's the insurance goal. This game is over. This game is 100% over. And while I was kind of right, I was also kind of wrong, because what I thought was an insurance goal actually wound up being the game winner. About 2 minutes after Waugh extended the lead to 2, Robert Thomas, ye of 2 first names, got the Blues back within 1 on just another really good shot. Beat Hill on the glove side again, and I'm not going to do the bit again because I think I've used that too many times. So Hill's given up 7 goals, all of which were on the glove side. I think we need to talk about it now. But I don't think we need to talk about it right now. Everything's okay. Time winds down. Blues wind up pulling Bennington. Nothing happens. Knights play good shutdown defense for what felt like 4 minutes. And that was the game. Golden Knights hold on to win 4-3. Improved to 2-0 on the year. And handed the Blues, I believe, their first loss of the year. So that always feels good. And somehow, after 2 games, and this is kind of surprising given who we've played to kick off the year, the Golden Knights sit atop the Pacific Division after 2 games with 4 points. Actually, realistically, with the goals for tiebreaker, I think we're the number 1 team in the NHL right now who has played 2 games. But it is way too early. There's still 80 games to go to talk about that. I would love to steal a segment like they do on the radio broadcast for the Knights, like a night to shine kind of thing. I haven't come up with what it is, so I just want to say my personal favorite player of this game has got to be Jack Eichel. Eichel played exceedingly well tonight. He's up to 6 points on the year, that's just so many points. He's a difference maker. He's looking like the superstar that we always thought he was, and if he can keep this up, not necessarily through 82 games, but if he can play like this 3 out of every 4 games throughout the year, it's going to be a very good season for the Golden Knights. Another thing I want to give some credit for, obviously, Schwint getting his first point in the NHL. It's weird to see him immediately get a spot in the lineup over Brendan Brisson. Who's been here forever. But you know what? At the end of the day, it is what it is. And of course, I have to give a major shout out to Raphael Lavoie. Guy has logged more frequent flyer miles than anybody I've ever met. And he's now going to be a member of the Henderson Silver Knights after being left on waivers, claimed off of waivers, put on waivers, claimed off of waivers, put on waivers, claimed off of waivers. Edmonton and Vegas were playing a really stupid game of ping pong for the last week and a half with this player's rights, and ultimately it appears as if the Golden Knights won the match. So we'll take an extra player. How about that? But at the end of the day, this was a 4-3 win by the Golden Knights. Pretty dominant, pretty solid. I have absolutely no complaints aside from Hill. Please work on your glove side. Just work on your glove side. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, please. Your team's not going to score 4 in front of you every night, so just make some glove side saves, please. Your glove's really cool. I'd like you to use it. With that being said, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really enjoyed it, subscribe to catch all the other videos. I'm doing hopefully 82 of these this year. Comment below if you completely disagree with my analysis of Eichel being the Knights' best player right now. Tell all your friends. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.